Good evening, Lit Lane Jury Box. Welcome back to Trial Watch with Demetra. I think I came on maybe a couple of minutes early, and I really should have came on like 30 minutes early, but I wanted to kind of stick to the schedule. It's like I was like, oh my god, the content that's on the streets right now is excruciatingly painful, and I don't know, but I just want to kind of stick to the schedule of 7 o'clock because I know on a regular basis I can more so get here for that time. It kind of works out for me. Hey, Tweety, thank you for coming through and dropping that like on me, girl, and telling me, hey, Kirby Vixen. I hope everybody had a great day today. What's up, Winter? POP, hold me down, moderators. I hope you guys had a great day. I had it was just a day. It was just a day, you know. Can't complain, won't complain, no reason to complain. I'm really excited about tonight's testimony we're going to be watching. Hey, Living. Tonight's testimony, you guys, is going to be part two. Not part two. It's going to be the cross-examination of Rebecca DISHMAN. Okay, we are doing the state of Tennessee versus Sean Finnegan, what's been dubbed the sex torture trial. This is part 3 tonight, and already it's been quite like a sensory overload almost, right? So please be aware that this is content of the content does lean towards more of a graphic nature that includes sex, violence, that type of stuff. So please be aware of that in case you're triggered or easily triggered about that. No problem, Living. Thank you for just even coming through. Winter and Tiki here, and this, we got it. Thank you. But definitely be listening because tonight you got to remember we're going to do the cross-examination from the defense team on Rebecca DISHMAN, the accomplice. Last night when we heard the start of her testimony under direct examination from the state because she's turned state witness in this case. Sean Finnegan stands accused in Tennessee. This is a death penalty case. He is accused of unaliving Jennifer Paxton. Okay, Jennifer Paxton was an indigent person, a drug addict, alcoholic, homeless, and everything that came along with that, including sex work. It is alleged that Sean Finnegan, along with his accomplice Rebecca DISHMAN, lured pretty much Jennifer Paxton to his home under the pretense of goodwill, only to become very violent with her, chain her up, expose her to sexual and physical torture, and then eventually unalive her. They're saying the cause of death was strangulation. She's also been hit over the head with a baseball bat. After sexually and physically torturing her, and then they unalived her, they went one step further and actually disposed of her body by ways of wrapping it up and putting it in a deep freezer and storing it in that deep freezer for over 8 months. The deep freezer was kept in their bedroom closet. Hey, Renee. Hey, Lady T. Rock. Renee, say hello. Girl, he up there posted up. He just goes back and forth between me and my son. So they kept the body of their victim, again, wrapped up in plastic inside of a deep freezer that was in their bedroom closet. Now, last night when we heard the testimony of Rebecca DISHMAN, it was pretty much going into it before the Lit Lane Jury Box really got to hear her story, her side of things. It was kind of like a general consensus, pretty much, that that she was more innocent, not innocent, but more. She was younger. She was only 20 something when she got with the defendant Finnegan, Mr. Finnegan, who was 50 something. She also was going between pillar and post, home to home. It seemed as though, from our assumption, that a lot of times she got in these relationships in order to have some place to stay, have somebody taking care of it. It will come across that way. She does come across, and she has come across so far to be a little bit more on the slower side. Um, she got into the relationship with Sean Finnegan, a consensual BDSM relationship. That maybe it sounds like got way entail way more than what she signed up for. So when we left off last night with her testimony under direct questioning from the state, she had gotten to the point of her story, her narrative of after having kept the body and participated in the unaliving and the torturing and the sex torture of the victim. After 8 months, she went to make her escape by way of her neighbor. And that's when they called the police. She told the police the story, told about her part, and she was jailed. Since that time, at the point in time of this trial, she has in fact pled guilty already to murder in the first degree. She received a life sentence, and she escaped the death penalty. The trial that we're currently watching is a death penalty case there in the state of Tennessee. All right. So without much further ado, we're going to just go ahead and jump into, hey, Miss Kimberly Black. Don't forget, if you're new to this trial and if you missed one part, these lives are always put into the playlist Trial Watch with Demetra, and I do number them. Okay. So that last night would have been part 2. This is part 3. Let me see. Hope you had a good day, Kimberly. Tiki says she's the one the defense is trying to act like it's right. Exactly. The defense is doing their job to try to save his life and save him from the death penalty as punishment by pointing the finger at Rebecca and trying to drum up the reasonable doubt that it was, her, in fact, her who was the mastermind of this deal, and that maybe they unalived the victim because of jealousy and what have you. So we're finna get into this defense questioning. Tweety says, was Rebecca kept as a hostage as well? Or was she able to come and go? No. Oh, no, Rebecca was able to come and go. Now, she didn't drive, but she was able to go outside and smoke, go over to the neighbors and talk to them and send all kind of sex texts and stuff like that to him. Now, she didn't have a phone, but I think she didn't have a phone only because she wasn't trustworthy, because he had caught her already sexting with an ex-boyfriend. So I think that's the only reason why she didn't have a phone. But she was able to go in and out the house. Mm-hmm. She wasn't kept locked up or in prison, and she went to live with him voluntarily, and they actually had a romantic relationship, even though it was one of a master and submissive in the BDSM. Let me pull this up. Good question. No, not like that. Like this video file. Okay. I'm finna say, of course, I don't need to tell y'all to please hit the like. Let's see. All right, Finnegan. Yeah, Finnegan. And then we're gonna go to right here. Hey, Jill. Good evening.
Made reference to a third party hearsay.
Let me get to where we left off. We left off when the state finished. We listened to some of the banter between the prosecutor and the defense team, and now we finna get to the cross examination. I forget this not like YouTube where I can see they on a break. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Issue other than conduct and form is motive and intent. Those are the two things you told me. And then when you spoke about it, you said she got a benefit from this.
Hold on. Okay, so they came back from break, and we're gonna pick it up from there. Hey, Barry Karen.
Issue other than conduct and form is motive and intent. Those are the two things you told me.
Damn.
And then
it's hard to fast forward and rewind on here.
The court must determine that
Okay, let's just start from right there. Shoot. Thank y'all for joining Trial Watch with Demetra. Once you enter this type of content, you have become a part of the Lit Lane Jury Box. So make sure that you weigh in and participate in the chat. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, your questions. This is the state of Tennessee versus
Court must
Sean
upon
Finnegan.
request hold a jury out here outside the jury's right. I did that. The court must determine that a material issue exists other than conduct conform with a character trait, and must upon request state on the record the material issue, the ruling, the reason for admitting the evidence.
Okay, for you guys that was here last night, remember we left off after the defense and the prosecutor was going back and forth, trying to see if they're going to be, if the defense is going to be able to enter into evidence and testimony about the fact that Rebecca DISHMAN, the accomplice, and her behavior in jail. We found out that she had an affair with a guard in jail. She was able to get a phone and other stuff, and she threatened to beat up other women that she thought was sleeping with the jail person too. And they're trying to enter that, hey, Sunshine, as a testimony to her character. So right now, the judge, on a break, the judge went to go make his decision. So that's what they're talking about right here. Tiki say, I'm half for and half against the death penalty, but in this case, I'm hoping for the shot. Oh, lethal injection. I think I'm pretty much for it. The death penalty. Pretty much.
Defense counsel said that the material issue, other than conduct conforming, is motive and intent. That's what those are the two things you told me.
No, she doesn't have any children, as far as we know.
Spoke about it. You said she got a benefit from this relationship she had in prison or in jail, like she got a benefit from Mr. Finnegan. And then you also said that your theory is that she's the one who killed this person out of jealousy, and this is shown because she was jealous in the jail. I think that's what you told me. So, respectfully, I don't have clear and convincing
We just getting started, my flower.
about the benefit.
Good evening.
Or
Welcome
the
to the Lit Lane
jealousy.
Jury
I
Box,
do
y'all.
about she made a threat. So if you've got some additional questions you'd like to ask her about the benefit and the jealousy, I'll let you do that and try to convince me it's clear and convincing. But right now, I'm not there.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So just back about the jail affair, is that whenever you were the officer, can you tell me how that happened? The officer would drop a phone off with you?
Yes.
Okay, and why did he drop the phone off with you?
To give him pictures and videos.
Okay. Did you gain any special privileges for doing this?
No.
You didn't? You didn't get extra time outside or any extra meals or anything like that?
No.
No? Did you get treated better by the corrections officer?
Not really.
No? You thought you had a relationship with him,
Well, damn.
but he treated you the same as every other correction officer?
Yes.
You had a relationship with him. You gave him sexual pictures, right?
Yes.
And you threatened someone to kill them because they were also flirting with him, right?
And then there goes Rebecca
Yes,
DISHMAN.
But he was only treating you like every other corrections officer. Is that right?
I said that, but I didn't mean it actually, like, that I was going to fully intend to.
You're
What?
talking about killing them, right?
Or,
Yeah. So let's talk about
Okay.
the relationship, though. The you said you didn't receive any special treatment. And you didn't.
Asked and answered.
Okay.
Let's go to the jealousy.
So when you threatened those girls,
yes,
it was because of jealousy, right?
I was upset
You were upset because you were jealous, right?
a little.
Okay.
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
A little.
A little. A little means you were jealous, right? I mean, you were jealous enough to threaten people, correct?
This is not the cross-examination.
Yes.
This is a motion part. Baby, this, oh, you right on time, Miss Steph 219. This is, why is she talking all muffled? I think either this just really her personality, probably, or I think, me personally, this is a personal observation, I think she really, really pushing that slow shit, her slowness, okay? But mind you, this is not the cross-examination yet, okay? I don't know how she gonna fare under his cross-examination. The jury not even in the court right now. Let's go. The two step,
What
I'm
did you
double
do
stepping.
physically to them after making that statement? I'll kill you if you do this. What did you do?
I wept.
You wept? Is
Yes.
that what you said?
You whipped. Who
Did
told her
you
that word?
push anyone?
No.
Shove them?
No.
Shank them?
No.
Cut them?
No.
Punch them?
No.
You wept.
Yes.
So I guess, help me understand this. So you tell these girls, how many did you tell? 2 or 3, or how many did you tell?
I have problems with one.
1, okay. And you told her, I'm going to kill you if you do what?
If she talked to him.
I didn't hear you.
She talked to him.
Tell me again.
If she talked to him.
If she talked to him. And
This is
so
a serious case. I don't
you
mean,
thought she was going to
but
interfere
hey,
with your relationship with him by talking to him?
Yes.
You did.
Judge, can I ask one more question?
I think it's pretty good for you right now, but if you want to go.
I'll leave. I'll leave.
I like this judge.
What? Yeah, give me just a minute.
The judge say, look, I think right now I'm about to go ahead and decide in your favor about entering this testimony.
You to ask about this, just want to go to the jealousy part, not the benefit. But if I do, I immediately have to give a limiting instruction. So I'm looking at the limiting instruction I have to give immediately after that.
So what I need to stay away from is benefit.
There's no proof of benefit.
Right. Just making sure. Thank you, Judge.
I just want to leave it.
And I have to say this, okay? So she had this inappropriate affair with the guard in the jailhouse, and she didn't get nothing. Let her tell it. Oh, I like your picture, Miss Kimberly Black. I think that's a new avatar. I see you with that pink hair. Or maybe it's gray. But girl, she let her tell it. She had this inappropriate relationship with that jail guard, okay? And she didn't get no extra bologna sandwich. She didn't get no extra commissary. She didn't get no extra time out there exercising, walking around. She didn't get nothing but an opportunity to get a cell phone and take nasty pictures in the cell. Okay? Let's continue. And I'm going to let them go.
Instruction, I'll be right back.
Wait a minute. What he smiling about? Let me see what he's smiling about, girl. He started smiling and shit. Let me see what he got to smile about in the death penalty case. Let's see. Let me say, Demetra, every time I try to multitask while you on, I end up right here. Girl, that mean I'm doing something right, girl. Yeah, I should have came on early because, baby, this content that was in the streets, I was like, dang. I bet they like, come on with the trial. I wanted to see, maybe they got it silent. I wanted to see what the heck he was smiling at. Like, what he got to smile about. He facing the lethal injection. Okay, they was on a break, remember? They doing this little thing here. Hold on. Okay, so let's see what he say.
And then obviously the state can ask questions about jealousy. Once we open this door, ask about jealousy and other prior events or stuff like that. So that's about the way to handle it. I note the state's objection to this. Okay, we good? Okay, bring him back in.
And he looked way better now, Carrie. Look how he was looking at the time he got arrested. Baby, look how he was looking. Now, I ain't heard them say nothing about no hard drugs or nothing, but hey, that look like meth to me, okay? Or crack. Crack?
Thank you. Have a seat. First of all, I want to apologize for making y'all wait. I had a legal issue that I need to get right. And so sometimes that takes me a little time to dig. So I dug through some books and got the right answer. So I appreciate your patience. But the reason that's important is I don't want to do this again. And so I want to do it right the first time. So I make every effort to make sure I touch all the bases. So please excuse me for this delay this afternoon. I'll promise I will do my best not to have that happen again. All right. So nobody's really mad at me right now. Okay, good. That's perfect. All right. So I think you finished. I think the state's finished its direct examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Cross examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Ms. Dishman, when you moved in with Sean, that's a house that's in Oak Ridge, right?
Yes.
And it's in the city.
Yes.
Okay. Is there more than one residence in that building?
There's 2 complexes.
It's 2 complexes. Okay. So, are there neighbors in that other? Is it an apartment or a condo or what would you?
Apartment
An apartment.
complex.
Okay. Are there other people that live in that building as well?
Yes.
Okay. So, do those different apartments share walls?
Yes.
Okay. And then this house and this apartment's just a couple of blocks from the turnpike in Oak Ridge, right?
Yes.
So there's a bunch of stores and stuff like that run along the turnpike in Oak Ridge. Is that fair?
Yes.
And so you were just a couple of blocks from those places, right?
Yes.
Okay. Were those places that you would visit, go to those stores and stuff like that? Like if you had to shop or whatever?
With Sean. Yes.
With Sean. Okay. And you said that you moved in with him. Where did you move in with him from? Where were you first? Where were you before you met Sean?
Maryville, Tennessee.
In Maryville, and you met him on Facebook.
Yes.
So, did you have a job at the time you moved in with him?
No.
No. And I think that you testified you were aware that you were into kinky sex too, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know any other term for it, so I'm just going to call it kinky sex, okay, for right now. But you were into that too, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is that something that you've done with other boyfriends as well?
Yes.
Okay. And so it wasn't new to you when you
No.
came to Sean as part of the reason why you moved in with him and were attracted to him,
Yes.
right? Okay. Whenever you moved into him, what did you bring with you?
A box of clothes and my jewelry box and a couple of pairs of shoes. That's it.
Okay, a couple. And did you bring some sex toys with you too?
Yes.
And were those sex toys like butt plugs?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so do you remember when you went to speak with, when you testified that you were going to go to a shelter, right? Or Mahogany was taking you to a shelter. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Sean wasn't home when you left. You packed up
He
and
was
left.
at work.
He was at work, right? And you were able to leave,
Yes.
pack up all your stuff and get out of there.
Yes.
When you first met with the police and told them this is some 9 months, right, after this happened, right? And Miss Paxton's body had been in the freezer for 9 months.
Yes.
Okay. And you did not call 911 or the police or anything to let them know that it happened, right?
Not till I told Mahogany.
Until you told Mahogany. Okay. Were you scared you were going to get in trouble?
Yes.
Yeah. And so when you went and told the police and you met with them that first time, do you remember that?
Yes.
And they brought you in, they talked to you in the interrogation room?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember telling them that that Miss Paxton had been chained to that bed for almost a month?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember telling them that it was sometime, the murder must have taken place sometime in January?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. When she was testifying for the state, we could not, we talked about this last night, and we pondered on the fact, how long was it between the time of them holding her hostage, the victim, and unaliving her? And we kind of assumed maybe a couple of days, 2 to 3 at max, because how she told the story initially. But now it's finna get nailed down how long. So we talked about this last night, Jerry Box. Let's see.
Do you remember telling them that, similar to when you're trying to explain to him that he's choking her or something, but when you explained it, when you told them the first time, you said that it was something about coming out of a shower and you walked in and y'all both walked her in and you shut and locked the door before he started.
He was actually choking her as I walked in.
Okay, but that's not what you told the police the first time. Would you agree with me on that?
I told him that.
Okay. Now this happened a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
And so you've had, what, 4 or 5 years to think about it, right? Okay. Do you remember telling the police when you first met him that when he got home, they woke you up, right? That you were just waking up? Do you remember telling him that? When Sean and Jennifer got there?
Yes.
Okay. And would that be normal? Because he usually gets home kind of early hours of the morning from work, right? Okay. And then do you remember telling them that at that point, like you had just woken up and then he basically just beat her with a bat?
Yes.
And that's basically what you taught her. Like she was there and then he just decided to beat her with a bat, right?
Yes.
You didn't say anything about him talking about kidnapping or planning this or anything like that. You didn't say anything.
He had mentioned it while she was in the shower.
I'm sorry?
He had mentioned it while she was showering.
But you didn't tell the police that the first time you met with him, right?
I told them that he asked me, do you want to kidnap her? And I told him that he asked that while she was showering.
And that's what you said in the first interview?
I believe so.
Okay. Can't remember really though, right?
It's been a couple years.
It's been a long time and you could have said something different because you said different things,
Yeah.
right? And you said a few different things, haven't you?
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
she switched
So-
up her
So the
story.
facts that you're saying now, today, for instance, today you said something about Sean burning you with a torch. You've never told anybody, in any of your interviews prior, you never mentioned anything about a torch, did you?
No.
Okay. And then you also talked about him cutting you with a box cutter. In any of your other interviews, you never mentioned anything about a box cutter, have you?
No.
No. And in fact, you suffer from some depression, and issues like that, don't you?
Yes.
And you're a cutter, aren't you?
I was at the time.
You were a cutter at the time. And that means that you would cut yourself, right?
Yes.
Small cuts,
Yes.
little cuts, and and you get some sort of satisfaction from that, don't you?
It was a coping technique.
Okay. And so when you would cut yourself, that's how you would cope are tiny cuts.
Yes.
Okay. Sean paid for where you lived, right?
Yes.
And he bought you food
Yes.
and bought you glasses,
Yes.
and he paid for your medicine,
Yes.
right? He took you to the doctor. If you need to go to the doctor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He basically provided your needs, right?
Yes.
And he went to work just about every day in order to do that,
Yes.
right? And when I say day, I mean like afternoon till early morning hours, like the entire afternoon till the early morning hours, like 5 to 5, 4 to 4, something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So today when you testify about Jennifer getting there, you said that she came in and then she was making breakfast,
Yes.
right? So evidently you were up, or y'all were up for a little while. This didn't happen right when they got home, right?
Yeah, we were up and talking to each other.
For a little while, because not long enough for her to make breakfast, at least, right?
She had a bowl of cereal.
Okay.
You said she
y'all
was
are
cooking.
talking and having breakfast.
Wait a minute. Wait. When she was on direct examination, she specifically said that the victim, Jennifer Paxton, had cooked breakfast and took a shower. Not no cereal. She definitely said she cooked breakfast. Okay? She a liar.
And everything's fine, right?
At first.
Is this the first time Sean had brought a prostitute home?
No.
Is it the first time that y'all had discussed having a threesome?
No.
In fact, you've done that before.
Yes.
It wasn't uncommon,
No.
right? Okay. But this particular morning, your testimony is that he brought someone home, and you would agree that you texted back and forth with Sean, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you use other people's phones to do that, didn't you? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Okay. For instance, Mahogany's,
Yes.
right? Okay. And so in those texts, you would text him while he was at work,
Yes.
correct? And you would text him, basically sexting.
Yes.
Is that a fair way to say it? And you would say, "Hey, Daddy, come, whatever." Right?
Yes.
I want to do this. I want to do that. Right? They're going to be in evidence, so we'll be able to read them. And he half the time he would say, "Okay, baby, I got to go. We're getting busy," and that's how the conversation would end, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was your phone broken?
It didn't have Wi-Fi or data.
It didn't have Wi-Fi or data.
Yes.
Okay. That is a phone that Sean provided you also, right?
Not my first phone. It was gave to me, and then it got busted.
Your first, I'm sorry,
My first phone.
got busted.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a different phone, right?
Yes.
And it's one Sean gave you.
No. Different.
It's your first phone. I'm confused.
It was from another fiance.
Some other fiance bought you a phone.
Yes.
Let's not forget she had 5 fiancés. She never been married. I'm not going to even go into that, but she had 5 fiancés, never married, and it seemed like the engagement ends once they put her out. She was from pillar to post between family, friends, everywhere she seemed to live. According to her own testimony we heard last night, she got put out. She had a couple of jobs. Every job, she got fired. Okay? And when the state asked her what was her job, her title, she said she was a stay-at-home girlfriend. Okay? Let's continue.
Okay. Were they paying for the service?
Yes.
And then they stopped paying for the service,
Yes.
right? And so then you didn't have a service.
No.
So, okay. Which fiance was that?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey? Okay. I don't know that one.
He got jokes.
Do you remember in that first interview, you were talking about, you were telling them about the body in the freezer and these things, and you mentioned BTK. Remember that?
I believe so.
Yeah. Is that something? Do you remember? Did you read about that BTK, the BTK killer, or were you into serial killers?
No, but I mean, we watched ID a lot.
You watched like documentaries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And you would agree with me that before you met Sean, that you had also kind of dabbled in some different sort of beliefs,
Yeah.
Native
right?
beef.
Like religious beliefs, type like Satanism,
With the and
right?
later Satanism.
Like Satanism and witchcraft, things like that.
Yes.
Okay. And with a prior boyfriend, well, let me ask you this: when is the first time that you performed any kind of ritual, say with Ramsey, that involved cutting or blood?
I never performed any of that with him.
You didn't?
No.
You asked him to, though, didn't you?
No.
Okay. Which boyfriend was it then?
I believe Austin said that.
It was Austin.
He said that, like, I've never used any spells on him or anything like that.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm really having trouble understanding you, but My question is that there. Well, let me ask that. Let me rephrase. Cutting and drinking blood, those are parts of some satanic rituals and things that you have performed before. Correct?
No.
No. Okay, so if someone said that you did, say an okay.
She's
All right.
asking us.
Okay. So you okay. But you admit that you were into Satanism, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you've referred to yourself as a vampire before in letters.
Child,
No.
throw the whole
You
thing
remember
away.
writing Sean once in jail and saying, "I'll be your little vampire."
Oh, I didn't mean to hit mute. I didn't mean to hit pause. Baby, I'm getting confused. See, I don't remember all this. Hold on. Throw the whole Rebecca away.
So after this arrest, after you were in jail, after you turned in Sean, right? You were in fear, is what your testimony was, right? You were in fear,
Yes.
correct? And so you had to get out because you were scared.
Yes.
Okay. And so then after you were arrested, it didn't take very long before you started writing letters to Sean again, right?
Right.
And you kept writing him letters, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Have y'all seen this?
I'm sorry. It's just one of the letters from the jail.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
What is it?
I wrote in the letter.
It's a letter you wrote?
Yes.
Okay. Can you read the date on there?
6/25/21.
6/25/21. Can you read the letter to the jury?
Hey baby, I just got your letter. I hope all is well. First off, I want you to know I've made my decision. I want you to know I'm sorry for the lies and bullshit I've done. We have had our good and bad times together. I owe you an apology and I'm sorry. I want to be
Hey,
your
Diamond,
husband
forever you late. Good evening. I
Baby,
love that
will
picture.
you take me back? Your baby girl misses you. But anyway, I hope you forgive me and write me, baby girl. P.S. I love you, Daddy.
Your Honor, I put that into evidence.
That'll be the next number. I think 11-7, right?
She ain't that guy doggone slow. I didn't hear no run-on sentences. It sounded like she put some periods up in there. Everything was in a proper subject verb agreement. Okay. That letter did not sound extra slow.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
And that's one of many
Yes.
letters that you wrote, correct?
Yes.
Exclaiming your love for him and that you hope that he would forgive you and take you back, and right, over and over again,
Yes, at the time.
a lot of times.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to that first interview, all right, and see if you can remember some of the other things you said. First of all, let's talk about this. How did the police treat you? They were really nice to you, weren't they?
In jail?
No, I'm sorry. When you first, that was bad. It's a bad question. I apologize. When you first told the police about this, right, that first night, that August 5th or whatever,
Yes.
they were very nice to you, and you were like, they treated you like you were a victim,
Yes.
right? I mean,
They're
they
very
didn't
nice.
interrogate you about anything. They just kind of let you
They-
talk,
Just kind of listen.
just kind of listen. That's right. And they made you comfortable,
Yes.
right? And they gave you something to drink and asked you if you wanted something to eat.
Yes.
Okay. And during that interview, you talked about some of the cutting that you testified to about earlier, about walking. I think you testified that you came in from the shower. You're always getting out of the shower, right? Take a lot of showers.
Yeah, at the time.
Okay. And then you
Child.
walked into the room,
The letter was to the
And-
defendant.
and Sean was, I think you said, was masturbating in front of the body, right?
Yes.
With her nose in his hand.
And that he had cut off some stuff.
Yes.
Now, do you remember when you talked to the police in the first place, you described something about him
My bad. I was in my YouTube studio. I'm trying to monetize this video. But yeah, the letter was to the defendant, Sean Finnegan.
using a switchblade?
Yes. He
Right.
had used a pocket knife and cut off her nose.
Okay.
And
So,
intimate areas.
okay. So now it's a pocket knife,
Yes.
right? And you said you used the term switchblade when you first talked to the police, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So for the 9 months that you were at the house, right? Basically, you lived there for about 9 or 10 months. Is that about right? Did friends come over and hang out?
His friends.
Really? Mahogany never came over?
That was part of his friends.
That was his friends?
Yes.
She's not your friend?
I mean, later grew on to her as a friend.
Right. So you just were there, and his friends came over and hung out.
Yeah.
Where were your friends?
I couldn't see them.
Really?
Yes.
What are their names?
They were on Facebook and had lives and stuff on their own.
What are your friends' names?
I didn't have a lot of friends.
So you weren't allowed to see them, but you didn't have any friends to come see you.
No.
So that wasn't really true when you said you weren't allowed to see them. You just didn't have any friends to come see you. Is that right?
I mean, I could have had friends, but
You chose not to.
I wasn't really allowed.
Okay. But you did have friends in the neighborhood. I mean, you used Mahogany's telephone, right?
Right.
And she had to be familiar with what kind of relationship you guys had, right? I mean, she had to be kind of familiar because you used her phone for sexting
Right.
and took pictures of yourself and everything else, right?
Right.
And sent them to Sean.
Yes.
Was she sitting next to you when you did that?
No.
So you just had her phone?
Yes. She,
So she-
just let me borrow it.
So she would just let you borrow her phone whenever?
Not whenever, but when I was smoking with her and spending time with her.
So she was there?
Yes.
Well, you just said she
Welcome
wasn't.
to the Little Lane Jury Box, Lou.
Not,
Okay, I said sitting next to you. Maybe I was confusing, but she was in the room with you when you texted, sexted, took pictures, all
not
that
all
stuff.
the times, but yes.
Did you delete those before you gave them back to her?
Yes.
You did? Okay. So you would do text to Sean on her phone and then delete the text before you gave the phone back to her?
Yes.
In the room, in the same room, while y'all are in the same room.
No.
So you would borrow her phone and then you would wander off into another room to text Sean?
Sometimes.
Was she just hanging out by herself in the house?
It would just depend.
Right.
No problem, Lou.
And there were
Welcome to
other
the Little
people
Lane
that came
Jury.
over. It's like Sean, the friends.
I can't talk. Welcome back to the Little Lane Jury Box. Chill out and Lou. Thank y'all for definitely coming in and weighing in. This is the cross-examination. And baby, he only just begun. Okay. Let's continue. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. And just a heads up, we will be hearing from Mahogany, her friend / neighbor / rescuer. Okay. So just stay tuned and keep coming in. Keep coming back to catch that testimony. Not tonight. Okay, let's go.
People would come over and hang out during that 9-month period, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Um, do you remember that first statement you talked about that Sean made you clean up all the blood?
Yes.
After he beat her with a bat, is what you said. He beat her. He hit her in the head with a bat or whatever, and was beating her, and she's screaming. Right?
Yes.
What time of day was this?
I'm not exactly sure, but it had to be in the afternoon.
In the afternoon?
Yes.
But he gets home in the morning, right?
He was at home in the afternoon because it was later during the day.
Okay. But you said that it was after breakfast.
She had ate cereal when she got there.
Okay. So when she and Sean got home, that would be like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, right? That's when he gets off work.
That's usually when he got home.
And then she waited till late afternoon to eat a bowl of cereal.
Yes.
So she was there the whole day?
Yes.
The entire day she was there.
She got there in the afternoon.
She got there in the afternoon.
Yes.
How did she get there?
Sean.
But Sean gets home at 4 o'clock in the morning from work.
He got home late.
He got home 14 hours late.
I know that it wasn't in the morning.
Okay. So if it happened in the afternoon, then she had to be there all day if she came home with him, right?
I just know that she was there in the afternoon.
Okay. But she was there when you woke up too. You said you told the police officers that, right?
Right?
You wake up in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that you always wake up in the afternoon?
Yes, I'm not a morning person.
Okay. And then she and Sean woke you up in the afternoon when he got home from work?
Yes.
And he came home from work in the afternoon at a bar that doesn't open till 5. Is that what your testimony is?
Yes.
Okay. All righty.
While he pauses, let us pause. So what do we think? What's our first impression of the defense attorney and his line of his cross-examination? How do y'all think the defense is doing with this cross-examination so far? Let me know.
In that first statement, you also said that after Jennifer was there, that Sean raped her multiple times.
Yes.
3 or 4 times.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And that he made you I think you just testified that he made you climax over her while she was laying there.
Yes.
Right? And I think you said that he had to force you to climax.
Yes.
You mean he turned you on?
I wasn't turned on, but he forced me to orgasm.
From work?
Yes.
And he came home from work in the afternoon at a bar that doesn't open till 5. Is that what your testimony is?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. In that first statement, you also said that after Jennifer was there, that Sean raped her multiple times.
Yes.
3 or 4 times.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And that he made you I think you just testified that he made you climax over her while she was laying there.
Yes.
Right? And I think you said that he had to force you to climax.
Yes.
You mean he turned you on?
I wasn't turned on, but he forced me to orgasm.
I don't think that's how that works. I'm not a doctor, but okay. I'm sorry.
Objection argument.
Okay. So when you first talked to him, you first talked to the police, you told him that he made you clean up all the blood, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then just a little bit ago, you testified that after he did that, he went upstairs and he made you go down and clean up all the blood. That he went down and cleaned up all the blood and made you stay in the room. I'm sorry. That's what you just testified to, right?
like I cleaned a little bit of it up, but he went down and I'm assuming that he cleaned the rest up and
Okay.
grabbed the chain.
But that's not what you said the first time you talked to the police, right? You said that he made you clean up all the blood,
I
right?
didn't clean all of it up, just some of it.
Okay. And you'd agree that's different than what you said the first time,
Right.
right? And you also testified today that there's blood everywhere, or I know in one of the statements, and I'm starting to get confused now, you said there was blood everywhere,
Right.
right? In what rooms was there blood everywhere?
The living
The
room, huh?
downstairs area.
I'm
That's
sorry,
what I
The
thought.
downstairs area.
the downstairs area.
Yeah.
So it
Right.
was just splattered blood everywhere from because you're saying
Hey,
he was
Silky
beating
Black
her with a
girl,
bat,
welcome to the thing, Jerry
right?
Box.
And blood spattered everywhere in that living room.
It
Right.
was on like the floor area,
Hmm.
at least.
Okay. You just testified that they were fighting and she was protecting herself with a fire grate.
She was.
Okay. You've never said that before either, have you? To any other officers in any of your interviews?
I'm not sure.
Well, let me ask you, in your first interview, did you say anything about her defending herself with a fire grate? Did you tell the police that?
I can't remember.
Would you believe me if I told you you didn't?
I mean, it's been years.
Yeah. You didn't say anything about her defending herself at all when you talked to her, the police, the first time, right?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, when people are fighting and there's someone defending themselves and someone swinging a bat, were they standing in one spot or moving around?
Moving around, I would think
What?
so. I would think they would be moving around.
You would think he'd be moving around. Okay. All right. Did you testify did you see it or not see it?
I mean, I had to go upstairs, and then by the time I came down the stairs, that's what I saw.
Okay. So conveniently, whenever things are happening, you go upstairs?
I was made to go upstairs. He told me to go upstairs
Okay.
because his mom was coming down to take her medicine,
Right.
and he didn't want her to see it.
Okay. You mentioned that he was abusive to you really from the beginning, right?
Yes.
That's what your testimony is now. You said the first couple of weeks were good, right?
The first incident was the shower.
Okay. And so that first incident, do you remember what time of day was that?
I don't recall.
Do you remember what day it was?
No.
Do you remember what month it was?
No.
Remember what year it was? Have to,
2019.
I would think so. Call the police?
No.
Tell your neighbor?
No.
Tell anybody?
No.
Take any pictures?
No.
Write it in a journal?
No.
Okay. What about the next time that he was abusive to you? When was that?
Didn't tell anybody.
Didn't tell anybody?
No.
Didn't take any pictures?
No.
Didn't talk to the neighbors about it?
No.
Didn't call the police?
No.
Didn't leave?
No.
Whenever he was at work, were you chained to anything?
No.
No? Whenever he was at work, did he have a GPS monitor on you?
No.
Whenever he was at work, did you have an iPhone or a cell phone that he could track where you were?
No.
Were there locks on the outside of the doors or the windows that you could not leave the house?
No.
In fact, you did leave the house. You had pets.
Yes.
And so you would let you go take them for walks,
Yes.
right? You'd go visit neighbors, right?
Sometimes.
To go smoke pot or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta. No, you didn't miss a whole lot. He really just getting into the crosses down. So let's pause right there because we just learned a whole lot, right? So we know now definitively. Okay, I think that might be the first time I used that like that, but we know now definitively. Yes, Miss Steph 219. to put it in your words, the helper was able to leave. We know now without a shadow of a doubt, she was able to go in and out that house, talk to neighbors, walk the dogs, smoke cigarettes freely. Which raises the question of, how long it took her to recognize that it was time to go ahead and leave or call the cops. Well, she didn't decide to call the cops, remember? She was only concerned with getting her own self out of there. Mind you, it was 8 months later, 8 months after holding this woman hostage, unaliving her. No, excuse me. They held the body for 8 months in a deep freezer in their closet. But she participated with the holding the woman hostage, torturing of the woman sexually and physically. And it wasn't until she was ready to leave, according to her testimony so far, that's when she went and told the neighbor. And she was only at that time, she didn't even tell the neighbor nothing about the unaliving of the victim, Jennifer Paxton. She went and told the neighbor that she was being abused. That's the victim here, Jennifer Paxton, that she was being abused, domestically violenced. I don't think I said that right. She was a victim of the domestic violence. And so the neighbor, Mahogany, was trying to get her into a domestic violence shelter. And that's when she made her move to leave from with the defendant. And the only reason I'm saying personally that she ended up confessing to about the victim, Jennifer Paxton, is because her going to the shelter fell through. Just a recap of things, in my opinion. Let's continue. Try watch with Demetra. Please hit the like.
Do you remember telling the police the first time that you checked that after you were saying that Sean choked her, that you checked that you were there and you kept checking her pulse? And I think that you testified to that too.
Yes.
Today you testified that you basically were there all night long with her, checking her pulse all night.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And I think in that first interview you said that you were checking her pulse because you were a CNA.
Yes.
You remember saying that? What's a CNA?
Certified nurse assistant.
A certified nursing assistant. And you worked at a place where elderly people were?
Yes, for 2 years.
For a few years. For a few years you were in charge of taking care of people, weren't you?
Yes.
And you had responsibilities,
Yes.
right? And you had to get home and you had to
Yes.
cash your check
Yes.
and all those things, didn't you?
Yes.
And you're certified. That means you had to pass a test of some sort, didn't you?
I couldn't pass my test.
Then how'd you get certified?
I didn't. That's why they fired me.
That's why they fired you.
Yes.
Okay. But you worked there for several years.
Yes.
All right. And you basically did the same job as a CNA, even though you didn't pass the test.
Right.
Okay. And they trusted you to do that
Yes. Until I got fired.
until you got fired, but that's because you didn't pass the test, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, you, in some of the descriptions of what happened, you were really specific about Miss Paxton's body and her tattoos.
Right.
You spent a good bit of time with her, didn't you?
Yes. We talked some.
Okay. And you were, I remember, do you remember when you were talking to the police and you were very descriptive about the injuries? You were very descriptive about the locations of her tattoos. You were very descriptive about places that maybe were cut or had the names of her children. I remember that. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And you all had an open relationship, right?
I won. Yes.
That was the idea. You both had an open relationship.
He did.
Okay. And you had been with other people. You'd been with other women.
Just other women, yes.
Okay. And you texted Sean about wanting to be with other women.
It was his idea, like, he introduced it to me.
He introduced it to you?
Yeah.
You said you were into kinky sex stuff before you met Sean, right?
I was, but
Okay.
I've never, at the time, was with women and did it to that extent.
Right. But he introduced you to it and you liked it.
In the beginning,
Okay. Okay. So after 9 months of the body being in a freezer, you tell Mahogany. Now, Mahogany asked you about, you said something about your eyes, right? Bruises or something like that? Okay. Now, when was the last time Mahogany was in the house before August 5th? Or when's the let me rephrase that. Let me scratch that, strike that. When was the last time you hung out with Mahogany before that August 5th date?
I don't recall, but she,
I'm back. Welcome to the Lit Lane trial. Oh Lord Jesus, I'm gonna have to get used to that. Welcome to the Lit Lane jury box, Miss Betty Boop. Good evening, good evening. I'm back, y'all. What did I miss? What I missed? Let's see. I can catch up.
she was getting married on my birthday, and after she came back, that's when she noticed the bruise on my eye, because that's when we got in a fight.
Okay. Now, when you got in fights, you hit him too, didn't you?
Yes,
I mean, it wasn't a one-way situation. It was a fight,
yes,
right? You weren't cowering in a corner. You were fighting back,
yes,
right? You hit him also, correct?
yes.
Did you ever hit him first?
No,
Okay. So she got married on your birthday. When's your birthday?
April 30th.
When?
April 30th.
April 30th?
Yes.
So she got married on April 30th.
She
Around this.
was gone the week my birthday was.
That's the week of April 30th.
Yes.
And is that, you didn't see her for 3 months until August 5th?
She came back, but I didn't tell her until later on.
Right. So she hung out with you for 3 months after she came back.
Yes.
So my question was, when was the last time you saw her before August 5th? And you said it was when she came back after being married on your birthday, which was 3 months beforehand,
Right.
right? So I'm going to ask you again, when was the last time you saw Mahogany before August 5th?
I don't remember exact dates.
Within the week? Y'all saw each other fairly often, didn't you?
Pretty much like every couple weeks, I'd say.
Just every couple weeks?
Every
That's
couple
how
of
often y'all
weeks.
hung out?
Yeah.
But she'd let you borrow her phone to sex
She
Sean anytime
lied.
you wanted?
When I was with her.
Right. Okay. Because she's his friend.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Nietzsche. Thank you for joining the Lane jury box.
When's the last time you had a job?
I believe it was 2017.
2017?
Yes.
And after that, you basically depended on your boyfriends or fiancés to pay for your way?
Yes.
And what you would do is, I guess, what did you do? Provide sex?
Yes.
Okay. And just to be clear, it was, even if it was kinky sex, it was stuff you were into.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Hello, Chopper, the Go LLC. Welcome to the Lit Lane jury box, and welcome everybody to Trial Watch with Demetra. We're currently watching a death penalty trial of Sean Finnegan. Sean Finnegan is accused of unaliving, along with the lady who's on the stand now, his accomplice in this whole situation, former girlfriend Rebecca DISHMAN. They're accused of holding the victim, Jennifer Paxton, hostage and torturing her both physically and sexually before unaliving her putting her body into a deep freezer that they kept in their bedroom closet for 8 months. Rebecca DISHMAN, who's on the stand now, his former girlfriend, has already pled guilty. And by doing so and becoming the state witness, she was able to avoid the death penalty. But she has already, at the time of this testimony, pled guilty to first-degree murder. So the defendant is on in court now for this trial we're watching. He is the defendant, Sean Finnegan. And right now, he in a fight for his life because this is a death penalty charge. Right now, we're watching the cross-examination of Rebecca. Thank y'all for joining. And if you missed anything, you find yourself being interested in this case, please remember that we have a playlist called Trial Watch with Demetra. All of the playlist videos are there, and they're numbered so you can catch it. Tonight's live is part 3. All right, let's continue. Thank y'all for joining. Hit the like.
So Sean's a cook, right?
Yes.
And he had chef knives, right?
Yes.
And he took them with him to work, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, he may have left them at the house then, right?
Right.
You don't know. But there were other knives at the house,
Yes.
right? Pocket knives or whatever, kitchen knives or other knives at the house, right?
Yes.
Okay. Even when Sean was gone.
Yes.
So we talked about kind of stuff that led up to it, right? And then we have Jennifer being introduced to you in the morning or in the afternoon or whenever you woke up,
Right.
right? She was either immediately hit in the head with a bat or she was there all day and ate breakfast, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's see. She was either there chained to the bed for a month or for 2 or 3 days, right?
It was like 2 or 3 days.
But you told him a month the first time, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about, after you got arrested, you go to jail, you write these letters. You start writing these letters to Sean, right?
Yes.
And you continuously write to him, right? Until I assume your lawyers told you to stop.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so after that, some time's passed and you developed a relationship with a corrections officer.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
this finna get good.
And that corrections officer would leave his phone for you to take pictures?
On one occasion.
Okay. And so it was a semi-sexual relationship,
Yes.
right? Okay. But you believed it was a relationship.
He told me that we could have fun.
Okay. And then you found out that there may have been a couple of other girls
Yes.
that he was having that kind of relationship with, right?
Yes.
And that made you jealous, didn't it?
It made me upset.
Okay. And it made you jealous enough to threaten those other two, to kill those other girls, didn't it?
I did say that, but I never meant it, that I was going to actually kill them.
Right. But they didn't know that, did they?
It was like
An objection calls for speculation.
Okay.
Also
I'll
state,
withdraw it.
and ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a jury charge in regard to that. And it's called evidence of other bad acts. If from the proof you find the witness has committed a bad act other than that for which he has pled, you may not consider such evidence to prove her disposition to commit such a crime. The evidence may only be considered to you for the limited purpose of determining whether it provides a motive. That is, such evidence may be considered by you if it tends to show a motive of the witness for the commission of the offense charged here, or B, the witness's intent. That is, such evidence may be considered by you if it tends to establish the witness actually intended to commit the crime charged. Such evidence of other bad acts, if considered for you for any other purpose, must not be considered for any other purpose than what was specifically stated. And I'll give you all a copy of that charge if you go back on your deliberations. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
If I was in that jury box, y'all, I'd be like, Your Honor, can you break that down to me a little bit more than that? Okay. But let's continue.
And so just at the end, so after threatening, right, after you threaten these girls, then something happened. The relationship maybe is going south or something, right? Or maybe you found out about the other girls. Is that what happened?
Found out about the other girls.
Okay. And so your response was to do what?
I decided it was best to turn him in.
So you turned him in. And you became the victim again, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
I'll withdraw it. I need a couple of seconds.
Sure.
So just so the jury is clear, you pled guilty to the charges that you faced. You pled guilty to first-degree murder and to kidnapping,
Yes.
right? And you were charged with the same crimes that Mr. Finnegan is charged with and is facing trial here today, correct?
Yes.
And you were also served with a notice of the state's intent to seek the death penalty,
Yes.
right? And then you pled guilty. Your attorneys advised you, right? You got good attorneys, don't you?
Yes.
You do.
Very good attorneys.
You've got very good attorneys. And they advised you that it would be in your best interest to take a plea.
Yes.
And so you pled guilty to that.
Yes.
And in exchange, the state's is agreed to not, there's no death penalty,
Right.
right? They took the death penalty off the table. So you saved your life.
Yes.
And your attorneys advised you that that was advisable.
Yes.
Okay. And that plea was sometime that was in September last year.
Yes.
Is that fair?
She said she had very good attorneys. Okay.
So before you came in this morning to testify, first of all, you've testified under oath before,
Right.
right? And you've testified in this courtroom under
Yes.
oath before. And do you remember testifying last time that strike that.
Okay, while he get it together, Lou A made a no, she ain't got no money, Chopper. She ain't got no money. She didn't have no job. Her mama and daddy was dead. She was in between from pillar to post, from here to there. She didn't have 5 fiancés because every time she needed somewhere else to live, she hooked up with some dude, and that's how she lived. So you got to remember, in these cases, a lot of these attorneys and stuff, they be doing, this is a whole high profile case, right? And so what happens is each year, a lot of the lawyers, for tax purposes, for state bar purposes and stuff like that, they do pro bono work, right? Where they'll defend someone for free. Why would they do that? They would do that for exposure. They would do that to get their name put out there and things like that, right? And this is, in fact, a high profile case. When you're talking about sex, torture, body in the freezer, 8 months, BDSM, all that type of stuff. Oh my God. Yes. Y'all see how we reacting to it now. Can you imagine in this state, Tennessee? So to have, your name attached to that, to get that media coverage, it'll be a good reason. Good evening, Sassy Fran. Welcome back to the Lit Lane Jury Box. I wanted to kind of address this. Lou A. waged a good question here, or assumption. I suppose they have evaluated this young lady's capacity. It could appear that she can be walked/manipulated into anything. Right. Now, I think it's pretty much safe to say they had her evaluated, right? Number one, to find her competent under her own trial and all that, And I think she putting on. She ain't the smartest one she ain't the sharpest pencil in the box, But she ain't the dullest either. I very much so think she's very manipulative. Okay, very manipulative. That's my opinion, though. Let's go. Wait a minute. Girl, what part of Tennessee they in? Did y'all see that woman had on some biker shorts? Did y'all see that lady had on some biker shorts in this death penalty trial at the courthouse, down to the courthouse? Girl, boo.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to be clear that whatever time of day that Jennifer Paxton and Sean got back to your house, on whatever day that was, whatever time of year that was, that you were there,
Right.
right? That you were there for 9 months
Yes.
following,
Yes.
and that you were alone most of the time.
Yes.
And during the time Jennifer Paxton was there, you were alone most of the time.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Redirect.
Yes, Sean. When you were there alone, was there someone else in the house?
Francis.
Did Frances communicate regularly with
No.
Mr. Finnegan?
She talked to him, but we didn't really have a relationship.
You two didn't have a relationship.
No.
Are you aware of how Mr. Finnegan knew what you were doing during the day if you weren't telling him?
I'm guessing that she watched me.
Objection to guessing.
Do you have
Study.
any personal knowledge of Miss Frances giving information to Mr. Finnegan?
Objection to hearsay.
She may have personal knowledge based on
No, just
other actions.
Yeah, ask her if she's got personal knowledge, not what somebody told her.
That was my question. Do you have personal knowledge or information, not something someone told you, that makes you believe that Miss Frances told Sean what you were doing during the day?
No.
Who told Sean that you left with Mahogany? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Who else was at the house when you left with Mahogany?
Just Francis.
Okay. So in any given day, the only other person at the house after Miss Paxton was murdered, that was
It
Miss
was
Frances.
just Francis and I.
Okay. Did you have a driver's license?
No.
Were you able to operate a car?
No.
Now, you had said earlier that he had the freezer turned with initially when it was downstairs with the doors toward the wall, correct?
Yes.
Was he concerned with someone getting, you said he was concerned with somebody getting in that. Who was he concerned about?
His ex, Sarah.
And was that something where Sarah would come over
Yes.
at that
sometimes.
point? And this is somebody he had dated,
Yes.
and you were aware of that.
Yes.
Okay, I got to pause it right here. I wonder if anybody know why I'm finna pause it right here. She just asked this lady about the position of the freezer in the bedroom closet that held the body. And she said that the freezer doors was face to towards the closet door. What got me thrown for a loop is, what kind of freezer was it they had this woman body in, whereas they saying the freezer doors? Okay, because I was assuming that they put this woman body in a deep freezer. You know, the kind that's a square, and you gotta reach down in it. How in the world? Wait a minute. Wait. So if it wasn't that type of deep freezer and it got doors, that make me think it's a stand-up freezer. And so you mean to tell me they put this woman's body in a stand-up freezer? And so they had her body standing up in the freezer? Girl, oh my God. That is a lot. That is a lot. I see y'all saying about the commercials. Now, are they coming too frequently? Because I said it at 18 minutes apart. Or is it just they coming at the damnedest time, right? Let me know, because I thought 18 minutes was pretty good. It could be in a steel freezer. Child, I can't imagine, being in a freezer, period, was horrible. Not Chopper saying he was a shelf. True. But even with the deep freezer, it's very gory and disgusting. And yeah, you mean to tell me they kill her and make her stand up for 8 months in a freezer? Girl, boo. My condolences to the family of Jennifer Paxton. I am not trying to make light of this, but hey, we doing this commentary and watching this, and we are absolutely appalled. And sometimes you have to kind of lighten up the mood, right? Definitely my condolences to the family of Jennifer Paxton. She was, in fact, 36 years old at the time of this crime. She was a mother of 7 children, and no matter if she was an addict, homeless, if she did sex work, what have you, her life definitely mattered. And no one is justified in taking her life. She does matter. And this was absolutely atrocious what they did to her. Period. Unbelievable. Unacceptable.
Did you threaten Sarah?
No.
Were there any other women? There's been testimony here today that threesomes weren't abnormal and it was always another woman, correct?
Right.
That's what you said just a few minutes ago. So were there other girlfriends that he had?
Yes.
And they came into the house?
Yes.
How many other women were in the house besides Jennifer while you were there? In and out, whether they spend the night, stayed, but relationships?
4.
Okay. Were any of those women murdered or put in the freezer?
Just Jennifer.
Okay. Do you have a day planner? Do you know what I mean by that?
Like a to-do list.
Yeah. With like a calendar?
Outside of jail, or
Like when you lived at this house, did you?
Child, how she know enough to say I wept like she Jesus? You know how they say Jesus wept? Early in her testimony, child, she gonna say I wept. So she know how to say I wept, but she don't know what a day planner is. Child, somebody coached her.
Keep a calendar of your day-to-day?
no.
Did you have anywhere that you were scheduled to be at any given time?
No.
Working on, job that you had to keep that schedule?
No.
Do you remember when COVID, are you going to use the term COVID hit?
Yes.
When was that?
Probably summer of 2019. At one point, Sean lost his job.
Okay. And that was because things were locked down or closed. And lots of schedules kind of got upended, right?
Yes.
At that point, yeah. So you had nowhere where you needed to be working every day.
No,
You weren't volunteering anywhere.
no,
Didn't have any sort of 9 to 5.
no,
Nothing to mark really the difference between one day or another.
no.
Okay. You talked about, and he talked about, watching crime documentaries or TV shows.
Right.
And you talked about how Sean came home with shower curtain cleaning supplies,
Yes.
different things. Could you describe what he did with those?
After he murdered Jennifer, he laid the tarp down, placed her body on the shower curtain, rolled her in it after bleaching her down, and then put her in the freezer.
Did you assist with that?
Yes.
You talked about being there alone. It was just you and Jennifer. You've said that on both direct and cross.
Right.
That you're there. Francis is there. Francis is
Right.
having good days and bad days.
Yes.
And you talked with Jennifer.
Yes.
You said at the end, when you thought that she was close to dying,
Yes.
that you talked to her.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
I was extremely anguished and I wanted to say my goodbyes
Why did you feel that anguish?
because I care about people.
Girl, hold on. Oh my God. Oh my God. She is insulting my sensibility, okay? She is insulting my intelligence. At this moment in time, they playing on my top. Did she just say she was extremely what? I know she didn't say no, I am extremely anguished. Did this woman just say she was extremely anguished? I would have told her I object. Spell it. Okay? If I was a defense attorney, I would say I object. Spell that, please. And then if she couldn't spell it, I would say I would like to just, mistrial because they didn't coach her. If you didn't think that this woman been coached into saying some stuff, at this moment in time was the moment I feel like this woman has been under extreme coaching. And that she had feelings. She got a heart. Girl. And don't even let me get on Miss Francis, okay? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm having a moment. At first, I felt bad for Miss Francis, the mama. I felt bad for Miss Francis. She old. She up there in hospice care in their house. They doing all these ungodly things, unspeakable things. And Miss Francis up in there, they probably done tied her to the bed, not giving her medicine. I'm thinking all that about his mama, Miss Francis, right? Poor little Miss Francis. But now we found out that Miss Francis was the po-po on her. Miss Francis was up in there snitching on her. Miss Francis was keeping a good eye out on her. So if Miss Francis got the wherewithal to call and tell her son when this girl go out the house, who this girl talking to, because she's looking out the window and stuff like that, how in the hell Miss Francis was in that house and didn't know nothing weird was going on? Why Miss Francis didn't ask them why they had a freezer upstairs? Why Miss Francis? Girl, let's continue. They doing too much. These people doing too much. They playing with me. Let's go. I'm not gonna say shit else. I'm done. I'm done. And what are you mad about?
So there's been some talk about you being satanic or Wiccan. And you said you were into it.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? What did you do?
Through a phase as a teenager, trying to fit in, and my dad was an ordained minister, so I was kind of rebellious.
Okay. So you, to be clear, you weren't drinking blood
No.
or engaging in rituals as they were described by
No.
defense earlier. There's been some talk then of some letters that were sent back and forth between you and Mr. Finnegan. Did you write a lot of letters to him?
Yes.
Did you express your affection for him in those?
Yes.
Do you ever recall him writing to you?
Yes.
He ever give you instructions on things you should do in those letters?
He had told me that I needed to tell the truth, and he was innocent.
And are you telling the truth today when you said you didn't do this?
Yes, I'm telling the truth.
When you said you were sorry for the lies and bullshit, what did you mean by that?
Like, not being a good enough girlfriend and not being good enough for him. Essentially, I wasn't ever worthy enough for him.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that last
I
part? I couldn't
wasn't.
understand you.
I felt that I wasn't worthy enough for him.
Why is that?
I've always felt this way.
So when you say lies and bullshit and you've always felt that way, you just mean in relationship to him and being a good girlfriend or submissive. Okay. You're not talking about the events
Objection.
of court today, are you?
Fine.
I think I'm re-summarizing what she said.
I don't think you need to re-summarize. So I think that may be leading. So I'll sustain the objection.
So we've talked about you entering a guilty plea on this. And why did you do that?
Because I feel that I am guilty. I have to live the rest of my life with it. I still have to deal with it every day.
Okay. There's talk about, again, the punishment that you had and the way he treated you and the way he was treating her. Could you clarify for me when you and when she are chained, specifically with Miss Paxton, how was she physically chained to the bed? Like, describe exactly how that worked.
He was chained on the footboard side of the bed, and he used 2 padlocks, one on her neck and one for the other loop for the other end of the chain through the middle.
Is that the same or different than the way he would chain you?
Different.
And how would he chain you?
He would use it the same way, but he would leave me around the house like a dog, and at one point he inserted it vaginally inside of me.
So he used chain links for that?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen the autopsy or the medical examiner's report for Miss Paxton?
I'm not sure.
Is that something that in preparation for your testimony you looked at?
Don't remember.
Do you remember pictures of Miss Paxton or a lot of medical information?
Yes.
Is that something that you looked at with your attorneys?
Yes.
You think that they gave you that in anticipation?
Maybe.
Okay. Did you have any information about what was in that report before you talked to the police?
No.
Because that would have been you talked to the police August 5th and into
Yes.
6th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever told Mahogany every detail about the abuse that you had at the hands of Mr. Finnegan?
No.
Have you ever told the investigators every detail about that?
I believe so, yes.
So you believe that you gave more information as the case went on than you did
Progressed, yes.
in that initial disclosure? And you've given more information than you did to the police on that first interview, right?
Correct.
Conceded that. Is that because that information is true or false?
It's all true.
Okay. And why were you giving those additional details later?
Because I knew that it had to be spoken or it would never be spoken.
Pass the message.
As part of your plea agreement, you agreed to testify, correct?
Yes.
How many times did you meet with the prosecutor to prepare for this?
I don't recall.
More than one?
Yes.
More than two?
Yes.
More than three?
Not sure.
Okay. Or 3, 4, something like that, maybe?
Good evening, Joy. Welcome back to the Midday
When's
Jury
the last
Box.
time you met with him?
I have to get that down pat.
I don't remember.
You don't remember the last time you met with him? When's the last time you met with your attorneys?
Week or a couple weeks ago.
Okay, not today?
I met with them today.
Okay. And a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
You don't remember the last time you talked to the DA?
No.
Okay. But you remember amazing details from 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Depending on what it is.
Okay. They're different now than they were, but
Right.
okay. And so Sean wrote you letters,
Yes.
right? And he wrote you letters and said, Rebecca, tell the truth,
Yes.
right? And you wrote him back and you said, I'm sorry for lying, didn't you?
I wrote him back, but
You just read the letter. You don't remember reading the letter?
yeah.
Okay.
Child, still my
Seems like maybe.
mind you, when she being cross-examined, you know what I'm saying? It's not the prosecutor questioning her. She put on this mumbling and she get real drawn in herself, right? To everybody up top who joined us here on Trial Watch with Demetra, thank you for joining us. We do have a playlist with all the parts. This is part 3. Please check it out. And please go ahead and like this video and keep coming back. Thank you. Let's continue.
Okay. You just read the letter that you apologized to
It
him,
said
right?
she's sick of her.
Yeah.
And
Shout
he was
out to
writing
you.
you letters saying, tell the truth. That's all he wrote to you.
Yes.
Tell the truth, I'm innocent. And you wrote back, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I put you in this position. Right?
No.
No? Is that the letter you just read?
I meant with the relationship.
Okay.
Now
And
he
you
finna
just
cry.
assumed he would just guess whatever you meant as opposed to it being a response to his letters.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
May I approach?
Sure.
Now, we've discussed that you wrote many, many letters, correct?
Yes.
And you wrote letters probably from the time you were taken into custody
Yes.
up till, yeah, have you ever stopped writing letters?
I eventually stopped.
You stopped writing letters to Mr. Finnegan.
Yes.
Was that after days, months, years?
Years.
Did you only talk about whether telling the truth or not, or sorry for lies or bullshit, or were there other things discussed as well?
There was other things.
And he wrote back,
Yes.
And he discussed other things as well, didn't he?
Right.
So this was a correspondence that was going back and forth regularly.
Yes.
And did you always get every letter he
No.
sent to you?
No.
Are you aware if he received every letter you sent to him?
No. I'm not sure.
But you are aware that sometimes you said he doesn't get it. Sometimes mail's rejected.
Right.
And so sometimes you're writing letters and you haven't got a response yet from the previous one.
Right.
Is that accurate? And sometimes you have.
Yes.
To get a full picture of everything on what his response to this or that may not flow.
Right.
I'm going to object to leading again.
Can you recognize that letter?
1 second, I'll sustain the objection. So next question.
Can you recognize that letter?
Yes.
Who wrote that?
I did.
Who'd you write it to?
Sean.
I'm going to have that marked as the next numbered exhibit. I'll move that into evidence.
Okay. I think that'll be 8 or 9.
And tell me if I'm reading this correctly. Baby, I'm sorry. I'm a bad submissive. I'm sorry I disobeyed you. I feel really bad. That guy was flirting. I'm sorry.
Correct.
I love you so much, so fucking much it hurts.
Correct.
Thank you.
Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Who wrote that letter?
I did.
Who'd you write it to?
Sean.
Summary here. I'm in a million pieces. Don't know where to begin. You hurt me so bad. All I want is your love. That's the gist of this.
Yes.
Breaks my heart that we're apart. Drenched in lustful sin. Is that what you wrote to him?
Yes.
What do you call him when you sign up?
Lustful.
Master.
See, she is very conniving because, for a minute there, she got me saying, how can she know words like I was so anguished and I wept when she literally writes like this? So even I am guilty of, what's the word? What's the word? What's the word? How you say? Like, I can't put it in the right words, but even at this point, even though I recognize her manipulation, even though I recognize her as being conniving, right? Even though I absolutely believe that she is smarter than what she's putting on, I'm still falling somewhat for her being slow at the same time. She a trip. She's something else. She what they say, nasty work, okay?
I move this be admitted as state's exhibit number 9.
Done. Any legal rights? Just false.
I ain't got no empathy
Letters
for
you were
her.
writing to him, you wanted it back, and you loved him, and you miss him, and you want to touch him and hold him, and all those things, right?
At the time, yes.
But you had to leave because you were scared of him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, no.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. You can step down. You can step down.
And with that, little lane jury box, we have finished with Rebecca Dishman's testimony. Hey, sticks girls, slow people can still be very manipulative. They just make dumb criminals. Correct. And welcome to the little lane jury box. Good to see you there. So let's talk about a couple of things here. Hey, Lady Sparkle. A couple of things I highlighted, okay? So now that we finished the testimony in the direct exam and this period, the testimony of Rebecca, what are we thinking? Because, oh man, I should have pulled up them screenshots. Dang, let me see if I can pull them up. Let me pull these screenshots I took of the chat the first night because, and I'll let you guys know, I say, hey, y'all, just full disclaimer, I'm taking screenshots of what y'all saying because this is going to be very interesting to see how y'all feeling after she completely testifies. So now it's the time to go to that. Okay? Hold on. Let me see. Where is that? Images. What are we thinking about the defense attorney? Because, baby, after the opening statements, the Little Lane jury box gave the defense attorney hell, okay? Y'all was saying that he was boring. Y'all was saying that he was just saying anything and everything. Y'all was tearing the defense attorney up. Y'all was thinking when I say y'all, I'm talking about the general consensus, the general consensus, right? The majority, right? Y'all was thinking that his performance was gonna be lackluster. Okay, living my best life. OG talking about he came back pretty good. Okay, let me see something. Looks like she's been involved in big back activities more often than not. What's that mean? I think she was traumatized by him. Lady Steph say the defense attorney redeemed herself. Okay. Now, we was talking about the first night, and we talked about it last night. I do feel, I think I put it this way last night. Even though we know from her testimony, she entered into this relationship with the defendant voluntarily, consensually. She agreed to it was a consensual BDSM relationship. She was good with the, like they call it, kinky sex. I feel like she was self-serving. But I also, at the same time, do believe that at some point in time, she was also victimized. I think that she may have agreed and consented to some of it, but she had no idea it was going to go this goddamn far. Right? I mean, not right, but that's how I feel. He was 50-something and she was 21. And when they say she wasn't vocal the first night because she was at work, right? Hold on, I got these pictures. Let me see. Okay. I wonder if I can make it bigger. Okay, let me see if I can. Let me share this. Because, and I do believe, I keep seeing this term, and we talked about it the other night, Stockholm Syndrome. I believe that. I believe that some part of it around, I mean, some of it is Stockholm Syndrome, right? Some of it can be, still very codependent behavior, right? But Silky Black, I don't think the part about the leading her around with on a chain like a dog, I think that's part of the consensual part of the BDSM. They was in a bondage, whatever, BDSM, sadomasochism. They was into that. She called him master. She was him submissive. She called him daddy. She was into the golden showers. She was into what they call scat, whereas he pooped on her. You know what I'm saying? So some of that stuff, but she didn't think that he was gonna cut her with no box cutter. He didn't think that she didn't think he was gonna be burning her with no torch. See, stuff like that, and then guess what? I don't know how early on in this relationship they took this victim and unalived her, but I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna say this for her, after she participated with that woman becoming unalive, Stig, she probably was scared at that moment that the same thing can happen to her. No. Here we go. To the right is the defendant. This is a death penalty case for Sean Finnegan. That was her to the left, Rebecca DISHMAN, that was on the stand. Rebecca has already pled guilty to first-degree murder and serving a life sentence, but she escaped the death penalty. Sean is actually the one on trial now that we're watching, and he is facing the death penalty. This is the victim, Jennifer Paxton. Okay, this trial is going on in Tennessee. Okay, let me show y'all this. Let me say share screen. Why this not? Oh, because I wasn't sharing the screen. I was doing video files. Okay, so let me do this. Remove that. Present this. No, share screen. Welcome. Okay, I'm gonna use my little magnifying glass. Hold on, let me see. Boom. Oh. Now, Winter said about Miss Francis, right? Winter said, living. Either the poor woman is frail and ill. I hope she wasn't being locked away in a room or something. So at this point in time, Winter might still think Miss Francis is frail. But me personally, I think Miss Francis should be serving some time somewhere too, because at this moment in time, I think Miss Francis is she knew that her son was Norman Bates. Okay, Norman Bates. Period. You can't make me think nothing different. Okay, I think Miss Francis knew what type of son she got going on up in there. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. That wasn't the right one. Hold on, let me see. How you exit this right here? Let me see. Let me make it bigger. Okay, Tiki say so. She's significantly younger than him and has mental health issues, plus learning disabilities. And we supposed to believe that she the mastermind? No, she the one in charge. Hold on. Child, I didn't take the right doggone screenshots. Never mind that portion. Apparently, I didn't get the screenshots I thought I got, okay? So never mind that point. Sorry, Tiki, I just read your comment. Oh, Lord, let me read these comments. Joy says, does volunteer victims get points because they disagree with 7.5% of their shared horrific behavior? Oh, that is good point. Excellent point, Joy. I would try to take a screenshot for later, but child, that's not working. Yes, she young and go for anything. The whole thing is disgusting, Barry and shocking. Betty Boop say he definitely took advantage of her, especially being that she has no family. Yet she also knew right from wrong. Very good point. Stig say, oh, okay, now I get it. Joy say, what was the action that broke the camel's back? Okay, so what do you mean by that? Do you mean what made her eventually go tell? I think she was just ready to leave. It had been 8 months. She probably ain't been staying with nobody no significant amount of time. And I think if we just keep listening, I don't want, I did watch this trial in real time a few months ago. But I don't remember everything when order it's going to come in. And I'm not going to just say nothing. But I keep coming back, Joy. I think we're going to find more information out about that. Living said, I'm not sold that she didn't do some choking of the victim herself. Living. I absolutely believe, down to my spirit, I really believe that she played a part actively in the physical and sexual torture of Jennifer Paxton. I don't think she just sat there and watched and didn't do nothing. I believe that even when he was at work, she was up in there torturing that girl. Because she, at that moment in time, she would have the power that she didn't have any other time. Okay, so Emma Renee letting Stiggs know about the victim. Thank you. Lou A said if she lost her parents at a young age, she could have been subject to abuse early on, unhealthy attachments, and the like. Absolutely, Lou. Absolutely. But how much of that being the case, even if that is the case, childhood trauma, childhood abuses, does that make you later on in life not guilty and culpable of your actions and decisions? Very good point. Live and say, I'm not sold about her not participating in actual death. I think that she said that when he was up in there strangling her the day they unalived her testimony, because we talked about it. She said he kept strangling her to the brink of death, and then he kept like the torture part, and then he wouldn't he would just do it. He'll stop strangling her and then do it again. Then she said because his phone was blowing up and the job was calling her, him, that he left out the room and that she was in the room when the lady took her last breath. And I said, I think he left out the room and told her to finish it. Mm-hmm. We don't know what her attorney did because we haven't seen her trial. Her trial wasn't televised. Mm-hmm. That helper did something, believe that. Yes, I feel like she knows exactly what her son was doing. Yeah, Miss Francis ass. Okay. Miss Francis, excuse me. And Renee say Miss Francis is the one who got the freezer, meaning she the one who ordered it, okay? And then me and Renee talk about, look here, I already told y'all that. Y'all about to go arrest Miss Francis, child. Right. She knew that Norman Bates was over there doing that. Because guess what, y'all? Remember, I thought that the mama was upstairs and they were downstairs or something like that, or vice versa. Come to find out, they was only in a townhouse, you guys. They wasn't in a house. They in a townhouse. So come to find out, the mama upstairs on the same floor with them. Girl. And how in the hell would they keep that lady quiet like that with all that going on? I forgot that they could tape her mouth up. I forgot about that. Never mind. I answered my own question on that. I agreed, Demetra, watching Jeopardy my ass, and she couldn't hear. SMH, shaking my head. Right. Let me say, look here now. We may have jumped the gun a little bit in the beginning. Okay. Right. She was ready to move on. Exactly. She was ready to go. Thank you, Jim. This case is something else. I know. Maybe it's gonna be hard to find a good case. Not hard. I'm gonna have me a challenge, making sure I find another good case to follow this one, right? And when they say she did not get into the shelter and knew that Miss Francis had already told that she had been gone for a long time. That's what made her tell the truth. Ding, 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 ding for $1 million, Renee. That's exactly what prompted her to tell the neighbor about Jennifer Paxton being unalived and in that freezer in that house. If it wasn't for the fact that her other plans to go to that shelter had fell through, she might have never would have said nothing. She might have never would have said nothing because of, number one, being scared of what might happen to her because what part she played. Number two, she might have never said nothing so she can hold something over his head and make sure that he has to continue to help her. Number three, she might have never said nothing so in case shit didn't work out for her somewhere else, she still had somewhere to go back to. She's very self-serving. But as a juror, we have to go with the facts of testimony. Did anyone say that she helped him? Or are y'all perhaps speculating? Hold on. Y'all know Lady Steph is our experienced juror, okay? I think I'm speculating. However, hold on. She did say she assisted getting the woman upstairs. She did say that she had climaxed over the woman. She did say that she would put the woman in the shower. You know, Betty Boop say the woman could be, the mama could be afraid of him too. True, 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 true. But I don't trust Miss Francis, Betty Boop. I don't trust Miss Francis at all. Okay, I wouldn't want to go help be her. I wouldn't go be Miss Francis' home health care provider after all this shit happened. I'm with Renee lock Francis up. Yeah, Miss Francis better look out. It's not looking too good for her right now. They better, baby, y'all is really on Miss Francis. They better go and haul Miss Francis from the nursing home and bring her ass on down to the police station. Okay. Lady Steph, I'm in jury protection tonight, trying to retry. Wait a minute, they trying to retry her. This chat is Demetra not gonna jump me tonight. We don't be jumping you, girl, but you know I will speculate. Wait a minute. Somebody said, wait a minute, a couple of people were saying the man was guilty on the very first night after the opening damn statements. Okay, I'm doing good, trying to be non-biased. But she definitely said she helped. Okay. Wait a minute, not Miss Francis is guilty. Child. If she's referring to him as master and apologizing for not being obedient in her letters, clearly there's some control and manipulation that occurred. Of course, not that it absolves her, but that could be considered. But see, Lou, hey, that's where you would, I think you wasn't here the first night, maybe, but they absolutely had a BDSM relationship. They lived, let me not say had, let me say it like this. They lived and conducted a BDSM relationship. That's the way they lived their life as this couple. As him being the master, her being the submissive. Okay? That was the role that she entered into with him. Consensually. Okay? Winter says, I'm gonna have to take cover too. Devin ain't gonna put me out. She already tried to put you out. That shirt she had on was guilty. They say that was Dennis the Menace. Okay. Lady T say she loved bombing him. Exactly. And I think of it like this, right? When she was writing them letters and everything, I don't think that she wasn't taken advantage of in this situation. I just feel like she's more culpable than what she's trying to act. And I think she suffers from probably codependency, right? And it's like a lot of times, I just finished watching when I say I just finished watching it, I'm talking about yesterday. They came in with the verdict. I just finished watching the Colt Delph trial, baby trial, right? Which we were going to probably watch over here because it's very interesting. But anywho, and that lady was in jail, steady writing that man. She was very the cult leader. She was very codependent on him. And even though she had evidence to show, that how being with him was serving her no good, it ended up, making bad decisions and stuff, she was still declaring her love for him. So we know codependency, Stockholm syndrome, all that type of stuff exists. But at the same time, you're still responsible for doing right or wrong. So anywho, Winter said they both guilty. I just want to see what his outcome going to be. Hell, a blind squirrel can see that. Right. That's why I don't even understand why his defense attorney, he doing a good job now with her. But damn, to say that, try to push home that point because of that letter that he's so innocent. Neither one of them innocent. They did that shit together along with Miss Francis, period, point blank, because they used Miss Francis' credit with Rental Center to get that freezer. Okay? So, you guys, this was another good night here with Trial Watch with Demetra, part 3. And we finished the testimony of Rebecca Dishman, the accomplice. Now, y'all know on Fridays, we don't do the trial watch, right? Over the weekend, starting on Friday. You know, yes, 32 in the chat. Little Lane Jury Box is growing. Thank you guys up top. Keep coming back. You know, we do it Monday to Thursday night. It's 7 o'clock. It's the time we pick. Well, I picked it, but it's working out for us. Please continue to join us, right? We got a few witnesses coming up that's going to be very interesting. We're going to be hearing from the neighbors. We're going to hear from Mahogany. We're going to hear from Mahogany's husband. You know, they knew them quite well. And Mahogany is the one that tried to help her escape from him by saying escape. I mean, to have help Rebecca leave from out that house and go to a shelter. So y'all keep tuning in. Tomorrow, you guys, her credit line, girl. Emanate say, thank y'all. Let me say, I love our jury show. Thank you. I do too. Renee say, yes, I absolutely love our Little Lane Jury Box. I do too. Betty Boop say, I really enjoyed this at Demetra. I will be back for the next one. Oh, good. We're going to look for you. Hold your seat in the jury box, okay? Now, tomorrow, I'm going to come, not with the case, not with the trial, but we're going to watch. It's going to have to be during the daytime, because my honey come tomorrow evening. So tomorrow, be looking for it. I'm going to come and do the sentencing phase of our last trial watch, which was the state of Georgia versus Leilani Simon, the baby in the landfill trial that we watched and finished last week. I'm going to come back with that content because they sentenced her today. Okay? All right, you guys. Y'all have a absolutely fantastic night. The rest of the night and a great day tomorrow. I shall see y'all then. Please hit the like on the way out. Good night.